My name is Krystyna Matusiak, and I'm a faculty in the Library and Information Science program at the University of Denver. I'm an associate professor and a lead faculty of the program. And we got involved in the project about a year ago when the director of the Department of Cultural Heritage and Tourism in Park County asked actually us to assist the department with processing, organizing, and moving the archives. So we needed some support, so I wrote a grant, and we were awarded a grant. It's called Public Good Fund from the University of Denver to support our work in Park County and primarily to support the students. So I think the very interesting part of the archive is that it's so rich. So you have a large photographic archive of historical photographs documenting the history of the county, starting in late 19th century. You also have oral histories. There are manuscripts, maps. I love working with visual materials, so obviously the photographs are probably the most important part, but we are also finding that oral histories are very, very interesting because they really tell the stories, life stories of the people who lived in the community.
So right now, I'm really interested actually, not necessarily in an item in particular, but talking to some of the local residents and seeing what parts of the history that they're really interested in, as well as, because I'm doing a lot of the photography, going through and recreating some of these shots. So looking and trying to line up some of the old shots with the new locations. That's been interesting and challenging because sometimes it's only like the mountains in the background and trying to line up the older shots with the newer ones.
I'm a DU student for the MYS program, and I was recruited to help Park County Archives digitize their collection, physically move their collection into a new storage facility at the beginning, and largely create the metadata for it. Well, I'm a huge photography person, so I enjoy photography. Photographs, there's a lot of photographs in the collection from the 1800s, and being able to interact with those and preserve them is what I like the most.
I've been working primarily on the oral histories for this collection, but I've also done some digitizing of photographs, some creation of metadata, pretty much a little bit of everything. I'm primarily working with the oral histories, so that's what's really sticking out to me. I really find it interesting when you get to hear voices of people who maybe are no longer living, and that's really impactful as far as even my personal life, is knowing that after I digitize these materials, a grandchild or something will be able to hear their grandfather or grandmother for the first time.
For me personally, since I am a student, it's been a major learning opportunity for me. It feels really good to be able to work with the community archive to advocate for an archive that doesn't really have a lot of funding or staff. So it's kind of been beneficial for me personally to get the experience and to help advocate for a smaller collection.
So I grew up in foster homes, so I didn't have a lot of historical information. So for me, pulling together historical information for other people to let them have access to historical line, genealogy, all of that's really, really important to me personally.
So that is kind of one of the great things about doing the digital archive, is that all of that is going to be accessible online. But it's promoting the preservation not only of the objects in the collection, but of the whole area. And the more attention that we can bring to it, more of those historic preservation projects can come out of it.
So in this project, I'm kind of wearing two hats. On one hand, we are working on a digitization project and we are building publicly accessible digital archive, and I'm bringing my experience as a former digitization librarian actually to the project. And I'm very passionate about digitizing archival materials, sharing them with a wider public, but also I'm an educator, I'm a teacher, I'm working with my students on this project. So it is really important for me to provide a good educational experience for them. And this project is a wonderful opportunity for students to really to apply their knowledge, their expertise, things that they learn in a classroom, which often is very theoretical, into a practical project. So I can be talking about metadata, I can be talking about digitization standards in a class, but when they have an opportunity to work with real materials, and apply that knowledge, I think it makes all that education more meaningful.